2 months ago, I took you along on the journey of decluttering my fabric stash because here's the thing. I have been teaching over 100 sewists how to plan, design, and make their dream wardrobe. I have helped over 400 global fashion brands launch and grow their businesses, but I haven't been applying it to my own closet. And so please come and join me on my Dream Wardrobe Diaries as I work to feel great in the clothes I create. And so today I'm going to be replenishing my fabric stash. That is 38 meters that we are about to unbox together. It might sound like a lot, but lest we not forget that I actually got rid of 41.5 meters, which means I think if my math is correct, that is a net loss of 3.5 meters, except this time it's hopefully more intentional. So we're going to see if my fabric mood board from the last video has actually done its job. Did I shop with intention, or did I have a few hiccups along the way? So let's go through the fabrics I bought, the experiences I had, and any surprise insights I might have had along the way. First up then, my friends, I did actually go ahead and buy my 4-way stretch activewear lycra from Minerva. I think I bought 1.6 meters. I know you're looking at this thinking that doesn't look right. As I went back to purchase it, it was the first textile I went to buy because, as we discussed, I want to make a pair of riding leggings with a sticky full grip seat. It was out of stock, and that is a lesson on taking your time and waiting to make decisions. But the good news is I was able to pre-order it. So I am waiting for 1.6 meters of this to come through in the post. I also bought matching thread, and I think that totaled £33.14. Now next, I shopped at Lamazi Fabrics. This has been highly requested to me by members and the wider sewing community alike. It was actually quite interesting doing this experience from a sewist's perspective. I usually buy wholesale, or if I do buy quantities of fabric, it's usually for a collection or sampling. This was a really fun experience for me to consider buying for individual projects. And whilst I know my mood board is all about the activewear, the basics, the jerseys, and the comforts, I did actually go ahead and purchase some Tencel Lyocell sand wash twill in this off-white, slightly off-white color. It's got a beautiful drape. I have been going to quite a few gigs in recent years, and I never have anything to wear. So in my mind's eye, I would love to turn this into an asymmetric pleated going out top that I've seen knocking around. So I bought 1.5 meters of this, and I cannot wait to drape it into a really nice wearable design. Next up, from Lamazi Fabrics as well, I bought 3 meters. It was £15 a meter of this brushed brown sweatshirting fabric. I really want a hoodie and jogger co-ord. I have a black hoodie that I wear all the time, and black is not my color. This was the first thing to turn up where I thought the color was a little darker than I anticipated. It's actually showing up on the camera to be a little lighter. Either way, it's going to be better for my skin complexion than black. Inside the DPL Atelier, we deep dive into your undertones and your complexions and what colors suit you. You'll be able to see on my fabric mood board the kind of vibe that is going on with me. However, even though it's a little bit darker, I still have plans to do a bleaching technique on this and do a fabric manipulation technique. I think it's really important that we remember as creatives, it doesn't start and stop with the fabric. You still have the skills to turn that into something quite exciting. And so in one of our previous framework cycles inside the DPL Atelier, where we were making a pair of jeans, I actually experimented with this bleaching technique. I really liked it. I didn't apply it to my final garment at the time, but I think I'm going to experiment with something like that on my sweatshirting. Lamazi shipping was $4.99, and they were actually really speedy in their service. All of these fabrics, RIP my bank account, were actually purchased within a week. So in terms of shipping and arrival time, I had a good ballpark and starting point that felt quite fair for me to experience the customer service I received. Next up was an oldie but a goodie. I have actually shopped with rainbow fabrics before. I've heard mixed reviews that it can be hit or miss. For me personally, I've only ever had a positive experience. We are just about to enter a sleepwear framework cycle inside the DPL Atelier. Actually, if you're watching this, we will have already started our sleepwear framework cycle inside the DPL Atelier premium tier. And I found this dead stock Bimba Ilola designer modal. with a cute cactus print. It is so adorable. I got 2 meters of this. And so I can't wait to turn it into a really cute, again, another little cord set. I've got enough meterage. I couldn't be happier with the print and the color payoff on this. The red is quite high in chroma for my complexion, but the lilac is perfect. And because the red doesn't dominate the print, I can absolutely get away with this. Ultimately, it's something I'll be wearing around the house anyway, but why can't I look cute while I'm doing that? My friends, it is at this point in my journey where I tipped into the balance of, oh, I see why fabric shopping is a separate hobby, because I went a little bit off-piste. Up until this point, I had a really clear idea of the garments and the projects I was going to be applying my fabric to. Now, I really do like to have as much of a sustainable approach as possible, but a big disclaimer, there are some questionable choices I've made in this haul with good reason. There is a little announcement coming up. But the second thing I bought from Rainbow Fabrics was this double gauze in butter yellow. Now, I bought 3 meters of this. I, every single year, help my partner host an annual country fair on the farm. We welcome over 2,000 people. It's a pretty big community event. I do the event planning, I manage the event on the day, and I do all the marketing in the run up to the event. This year, for the first time in 3 years, it was actually sunny and not torrential rain. I have got the worst burn mark across my back because in the run up to the fair, we are easily working 70, 80-hour work weeks. I did not have an appropriate outfit and I got caught out. And so following that, I was thinking I really wanted a nice lightweight summery shirt and short or shirt and trouser cord for me to wear at the country fair. But since buying this is where I'm going a little bit off-piste, I have been seeing some really beautiful sundresses in this butter yellow. If I come back to my research, my mood board, and I try and ground myself, sundresses are not necessarily what I reach for, and so a shirt and a cord set is probably more practical and more likely for me to wear it, should I make that out of this. I also find yellows are one of the hardest colours to match to your skin tone, but this pale butter yellow, pastel yellow is really complementary to my fair complexion. So I'm really happy with this and to have it in my studio stash. This was $8.99 per metre and I bought 3 meters of it. Okay, before I even started the concept of this video, I needed very urgently to go fabric shopping. And I actually went to a local, they're few and far between. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if that's the case for you as well. I know a lot of people inside the atelier and those that have taken the 3-day design challenge have expressed that fabric shops close to them are a rarity, which is really sad. So I went to one called Hillside Fabrics. The other one that I can recommend in the South Wales area is Lee Mills Fabrics in Swansea, but that's a decent drive for me. So I'm very lucky that Hillside Fabrics is on my way to the farm. I bought £7.99 per metre, a lilac jersey and a white jersey. This is literally, this might be boring. I've just realised this might be boring for some of you watching this, thinking, oh God, they're all plain and boring. I promise I've got some exciting prints coming your way. However, my research, you know, taking a moment to actually assess what it is that I wear in my wardrobe. Yes, I can get distracted by the prints and the beautiful textiles, as I did a little bit later on in the video. Yes, you can get distracted by the nice prints and the colours, but this is what I'll end up sewing. This is what I'll actually end up wearing. And to me, that is the most sustainable approach to my wardrobe. So I'm really excited to sew up with these. I bought 1.5 meters of the lilac and I bought 3 meters of the off-white, but I did make, during our t-shirt framework cycle inside the DPL atelier, a branded t-shirt, which is really cute. So I'm already wearing that around the house and that is really fun. To know that I'm reaching for it, that it's comfortable and that, of course, I made it. Now, this was only $3.99 a metre. It is a satin poly, but I needed the meterage because, as a small announcement, after 10 years, Ben and I got engaged. So you're going to be following along on me making my wedding dress. Oh, I think I just started sweating. But I needed meterage to toile my skirt. I've already been thinking about silhouettes to complement my inverted triangle shape. I'm very broad up on my shoulder. And so the skirt of my wedding gown, I've got mermaid, I've got A-line, or I have circle skirt to play with. I'm going to have to pick between those. I really need to introduce volume on my lower half so that I can balance my shoulders out. 4 meters is not going to go far, my friends, but it's a start. And so to toile my wedding gown, I can't believe I'm saying that, I needed to pop and get some satin poly from Hillside Fabrics. Obviously, there was no shipping cost. I went in, lovely bunch of people. But yeah, that and 2 bits of jersey, very happy with my purchase. So my friend, now that you know my rather big sewing plan that's coming up, I did actually have to source some illusion tulle for the bodice of my gown, and I need to toile up many iterations, no doubt. And so a really good quality illusion tulle, you're looking at about 20 plus quid a metre. For toiling purposes, I'm afraid I did have to go cheap. I went to a company called On-Trend Fabrics, and I believe this was around £4 a metre. When it delivered, because I am not a wedding dress designer, so I've not worked with this a lot. When it delivered, I was like, ooh, that is dark. But you bring it down to 1 layer and you drape it over yourself, and you see it's actually quite a good match. So I not only have my wedding gown to toile with this, but I also have an upcoming PDF pattern for you guys called the Jigsaw Jumper, and that involves an illusion mesh top with a kind of knitwear base. I'll try and insert a photo somewhere so you can see the vision. So this was £4.59 a metre. I bought 2 meters of this, and shipping was really cheap with On-Trend Fabrics. It was only £2 something, and these delivered really, really quickly. I also purchased some red piping to go with my Bimba Ilola modal, just as a sleepwear trim and detail. So I'm really excited to pair these together as well. This was about 99p a metre. And then, my friend, it was unfortunately at On-Trend Fabrics where I ran into my first up, for want of a better phrase. I am sampling a Vertigo coat sample. In fact, let me get it in the frame for you. And she needs to be lined. This is how LCD screens reflect differently on everybody's device, because I thought I was buying a dusky muted pink for the lining. Yeah, this isn't going to work. I do not want to line my Vertigo coat sample with this, especially because this is at a stage where it's now a wearable sample. This is in my muted colors. I know you're not going to see the lining, but for me, bubblegum pink in any capacity does not feature in my wardrobe. I want to say it's okay because it was cheap, but ultimately I just feel a bit naff about it because of environmental sustainable purposes. I've gone and invested in a not great fabric there, and I'm now not going to use it for this. I will definitely use it for toiling, for sampling future linings. Oh, my dog. What I will say, and in a arguably nice turn of events, is that it actually made me go back to my stash, because I was going to get rid of this silk crepe de chine. It's not a lining fabric. You don't always have to use a lining fabric to line a garment. Just consider the properties that you need. This is opaque enough. It's silky, it's smooth, it's comfortable on the skin. And I hope you'll agree that this definitely complements my Vertigo coat a lot more than a baby pink. So I also have about 3 meters of this, which is plenty to line my Vertigo coat. The lining pattern is actually the thing that I still need to tweak and develop. So if something does go wrong, I've got a lot of this to play with. And I think, on the inside of my coat, I won't mind that at all in comparison to what it could have been. Okay, my penultimate destination of choice for fabrics was Guthrie Ghani. I hope I'm not butchering that name, but I was really excited to shop here after an undoubtedly rave review, popular with the masses kind of outlook that I'd seen online. I don't have a bad word to say about them. I do have an honest one. Now, I clarified for free delivery. Somebody spent a lot of money for this video and for replenishing my fabric stash. But I believe that their shipping otherwise would have been £5 for 48-hour Royal Mail tracked. I don't know if it was because it was the time of year. We were coming up to a bank holiday in August. I purchased this on the 19th. I didn't actually receive it until a week and a half later. Now, that is not the end of the world at all. But I was a little surprised that they were the slowest of the bunch in terms of delivery. Everyone else was quite timely. And I mean, I was probably just being an impatient little mare. It's like Christmas when things come through your door, especially when it's fabric. But they did also call me after the bank holiday, which I assume means they didn't even process my order until after the bank holiday, to tell me that I was 30 centimeters short on one of the fabrics. Really not the end of the world. I actually didn't think this was a negative. I think I was just surprised. That would not stop me from going back and shopping with them. And they actually refunded me the difference very promptly. The fabric I was 30 centimeters short on, that I'm going to show you in a second. I was literally like, send it, I'll make it work. I don't care that it's 30 centimeters short. I will make it work. Other than that, quality of fabrics that have come through, really happy with. Customer service, I was really happy with. I think this was just an awkward time of year. And for me to even say that, you might be watching me thinking this is so unreasonable for you to even make that a thing. But that was just my experience. And because I had shopped at so many other places, I was just kind of comparing it. As I say, I placed all orders at a very similar time. So I was just kind of seeing how the cards fell. I don't even think that is a saying, on my experience. But let's jump into it, because I have to admit that Guthrie Ghani, in terms of fabrics and textiles, are probably my favorite of the bunch. Are probably some of my favorite of the bunch. I got two activewear fabrics, a really nice light blue. This is the perfect kind of color for me. This in the lilac was much higher in chroma for me, but I actually don't mind that for activewear. All of my activewear, or a lot of my current activewear, is black. And I'm not going to throw it out because I sweat in it, I work out in it, I muck horses out in it. But I do want to kind of make it a bit more colourful. I was saying to my members the other day, one of my favourite things, especially living in Wales and the UK, one of my favourite things is when you're caught on a grey and rainy day, which are unfortunately quite frequent around here, seeing someone wear a pop of colour. I think you'll be surprised, if you do people watching, how many people stick to blacks, greys, neutrals. And so to see someone wearing a pop of colour just fills me with joy. So activewear, I don't mind that this is too high in chroma for my skin complexion. I will still sew something and I will absolutely still wear it. But that was the only thing. All the other colours on the website, everything turned up as expected. This, I'll absolutely wear a nice light blue. They were both on sale for £13.50 a metre, and I bought 1.5 metres of each. Next up, I bought a powder blue cotton knitted fabric. I think I don't envy anybody who has to do the descriptions of fabrics online, because it is so subjective. I thought this was going to be lighter. It's coming up quite light in the camera, but it's actually a darker blue. And the opacity and the weight of it is really beautiful. It's soft to the touch. It's not the kind of textile that's going to itch my skin. And so I can't wait to kind of sew up a nice layering piece, something oversized and comfortable. I bought 2 meters of this because I don't have a design in mind. When I feel like I'm shopping for fabrics without a clear project, 2 meters for me and my dress size is a safe ballpark. 3 meters would be for something if I felt it was maxi, flowy, needed that volume. I'm not sure what that is in yards. I'll try and put it on the screen to help you guys out. But yeah, really happy with this. The color payoff was a little bit different, but nothing too drastic, and definitely nothing that would stop me reaching for it in my wardrobe. Okay, this is probably the fabric where I went off-piste the most and defaulted a little bit from all the hard work of my planning, of my mood boards, my wardrobe assessment. This fabric was just too pretty to pass up on. However, imagine me with a tan because I cannot wait to make a resort wear dress out of it. I'm trying to think ahead to 2026 and the framework cycles we're going to be doing for our premium members across the next 4-month cycles. I'm thinking a shirt and I'm thinking a resort wear dress for one of them. I'm always conversing with my members, so they'll definitely give me feedback on that if that's what they're into. But I'm sure you can see the vision as to why I thought this. So this fabric here is a sherbet floral blur viscose. It was £15.50 a metre, but this was actually on sale for £12.40, and I bought 2.5 meters of this because I can just imagine it as a really nice flowy resort wear dress. And now that Ben and I are getting married, it will actually be useful for a honeymoon. We don't leave the country often, but when we do, I'm going to make sure we go somewhere sunny. So yeah, the chroma on this, you know, it's very bright. There are peaches and soft hues of pinks in it. The chroma's quite bright for my skin tone. I will admit, this was my fault. Nobody else is to blame. I just went a little bit off piece because I just loved the fabric so much. And I can just imagine a really nice flowy A-line skirt. Finally then, the fabric from Guthrie Ghani that was 30 centimeters short, but I didn't give a flying damn, was this really beautiful geometric cotton jacquard. So instead of buying 2 meters, I actually got 1.70 meters of this. However, it is 160 centimeters wide, and I do plan on turning it into a pair of wide-legged jeans. There's not going to be anything special about the design of those jeans. Again, if we talk about balancing proportion, because I'm broad up here, I will always want to restore balance in my lower half to match out my shoulders and spread out that distribution of proportion. If you are reverse, you could be a pear shape, meaning you have broader dimensions down below and you're narrower up top. Just reverse it. So the silhouette I'm doing with my wedding gown being an A-line, circle, or mermaid, you want to add that silhouette and that fullness up top rather than down below, because ultimately what we're trying to achieve through designing our clothes is that sense of balance. So a simple wide leg trouser as a silhouette anyway is going to help restore my proportions. But on top of that, I can draw the eye down by using a really fun print or textile. And so you, if you are reverse or if you're a different type of body shape, wherever you want to restore the balance and proportion, can achieve that through both silhouette and color and texture. Really excited to make a pair of these. I'm sure I'll take you along on the journey. This was £18.50 a metre, and I don't regret a thing. Even though the fabric pile is pretty high right now, I don't regret a thing. And my friend, to round off this video, I have had the good fortune of pairing with the very generous folk over at Good Fabric, who have sponsored our premium members with an exclusive 15% off discount code. It was such a breath of fresh air to finish on these guys because everything they do is sustainable, it's ethical. I am not proud of the meters of poly satin that I bought or the bubblegum pink lining. There are some questionable choices in my collection that, and even doing a fabric haul, if I'm being totally honest with you, feels a little bit jarring. However, it is the only kind of haul I will ever invest in because I will be sewing up these textiles and I will absolutely be taking you on the journey with me. Purchasing from Good Fabric, have transparent supply chains, sustainable textiles, the quality is there, and of course the ethics behind it completely align to my preferences as well. So for me to get a cheeky 15% off was also a lovely little treat, and I spent it wisely because the first thing I saw was this beautiful remnant. This is just under a meter of rooted Eco Vero viscose fabric, and I cannot wait to turn this into, I'm thinking, a pleated mini skirt. I'm going to have to reinforce it with structure because the drape on it is so lovely, but I really want to have a pleated detail around the waist, and so I'll be reinforcing that and taking you along as I do that as well. A skirt is the other garment I'm thinking of doing for 2026, but I'm going to have to run that by my members. Really beautiful. This is the kind of pink I would have in my wardrobe. A little bit more muted, not as like candy baby bubblegum pink. And really cute, as I say, to have a print and a colour on my lower half. I can pair that with a nice plain t-shirt and that'll really help balance my proportions out. Next up, I bought this rib knit kind of pastel mint green. I've seen it referred to as pistachio as well, but this is also a really good color for me. I can get that, that's better. So this is also a really good colour for my complexion. I bought 1.5 meters of this, and this was £23.95 a metre. The drape on this is lovely. It's breathable. It's soft. It's actually cool against my skin right now, and I'm quite warm in my studio. So I'm really excited to turn that into a really nice, casual, basic and layering piece. And then finally, my friends, I lucked out because this was on sale, and the colour when it turned up wasn't what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be darker. And so this was the first bit of fabric that turned up where the colour wasn't quite what I was expecting. I need to stress that LCD screens reflect them differently. This is no reflection across any of them on the fabric shop at all. They all try and photograph in natural daylight, but my screen was just showing this up as darker. And in my defense, I will say, because it was labeled as sage, it looks white in the camera, but it's ever so light, pastely mint green again. Because this was labeled as sage, I did think it was just going to be darker. That's just where my mind went with that descriptive word. I'm so glad it came a little bit lighter. And I bought 2 meters of this, I believe. No, I bought 2.5 meters of this because I want to make a matching sleepwear set or loungewear set for the house. So it is a waffle cotton, originally £19 a meter, but in the sale I got it for £17.10. Yeah, correct. Oh my God, I had to check. So I was like, surely not. Surely £17.50. No, £17.10. Oh, I love that. Girl math. Have you seen that? Makes me feel better about myself. I spent a lot of money. There's no two ways about it. I did actually qualify for free delivery for good fabric as well. That is on orders over 75 in the UK, but I will put the usual shipping price up here. And so that is it, my friend. 38 meters of predominantly quality fabric. Let me know in the comments what you are excited to see me make first out of what I've just shown you. My insights were quite surprising. I found, which probably is reflected in the amount of fabrics I bought, I found my ability to shop for fabrics so much quicker because I was scrolling so fast, simply looking for color, knowing what colors suited me and matched me and what I was going for, predominantly jerseys, activewear, suitable, comfortable fabrics. I was scrolling so fast. Hello, Alex from the future here. I did just want to say another surprising happy accident whilst I was buying fabrics and preparing for this video is that I kept a log of them inside a Notion template, but you could do a spreadsheet, you could do any digital file on your computer. And I actually copied and pasted the images. So I had a running mood board. So every single fabric I purchased had a really cohesive inclusion in this lineup. I could see as an overarching view and look that they were all going to work together and be complementary. I know the sherbet was a little bit of a wild card, but it actually worked well with all the other pieces and colors that I'd incorporated. So I found that a really beneficial exercise to do as well. It was a happy accident because I was preparing for the video, but I think moving forward, I will absolutely create mini shopping mood boards as I go, just to ensure that everything I purchase is cohesive and has the best chance of success in my wardrobe. It was also really nice for the most part to have a project in mind. And even though it wasn't necessarily on the top of my to-make board, things like my co-ord sets, my sleepwear and that shirt for the next Garth Country Fair or just general summer wear was nice to consider the gaps in my wardrobe and what I'd like to add. And I wouldn't have arrived at that conclusion had I not done the previous steps of conducting my wardrobe audit and doing my fabric mood board. So whilst I don't want you to get used to me doing fabric hauls on this channel, it's probably not going to be the last. However, I will absolutely be ensuring I sew with all of that before I go out and replenish my fabric stash again. So let me know, what pieces in your stash are you excited to sew with next? What pieces from my new stash are you excited to see come to life? And of course, if you did want to turn any of your fabrics into something that you actually reach for and that you actually wear, then please do come and join us inside the DPL Atelier. For now, stay safe, keep creative, and I will catch you on the flip side as I start to sew with my new fabrics.